So I've had this 2018 iPad Pro now for about 6 years, and I think it's time for a new iPad. As you guys can see, the actual Magic Keyboard that I have on this iPad 11-inch doesn't actually fit, right? So it's more than long overdue for an iPad update. But I think in addition to the age of the iPad, I think more importantly, I needed something more portable. I travel often and I wanted something that I can easily slip into a everyday carry bag, not necessarily a book bag. So if you guys remember, I recently did a review on this Air sling bag that I've been using, and the iPad it's gonna slide in, but as you can tell, it doesn't close all the way. So I've been on the market for a new iPad now for a while. Apple recently released the 2024 iPad Pro, but aside from it being a super thin iPad, there was nothing really new about it. And so, as I mentioned, I wanted something more portable. So this time around, I decided to try the iPad mini. So in this video, I haven't opened this yet. So this is sort of like a first experience. I want to try this out. I picked up some accessories to go with it. But the number one reason why I was interested in the mini, like I mentioned, traveling, I wanted something that I can just slip in inside and out my bag. And I think the iPad mini is gonna do just that. Secondly, like I mentioned, I had my old iPad since 2018, so it's about 6 years now. The tech has changed, and so it's time for something new. The third reason is I like to take notes, so I'm regularly using a notepad similar to this here to take notes on, and trying to take notes on an 11-inch iPad is a little bit clunky, so I'm hoping that 8-inch sort of like closes that gap. So without further ado, we're gonna jump into the video and take a good look at it. So we'll start with the unboxing. So I picked up the 256 gigabyte in space gray, the Wi-Fi only model. T-Mobile did have a deal going on where you can purchase the cellular and pay for the price of the Wi-Fi model, but I didn't really want this to be locked into a carrier, which is another reason why I'm picking up an iPad, because I want the iPad mini specifically. I want an iPad to do exactly what it was created to do, which is in this case to be a tablet, not necessarily replace my computer or anything of that nature. So now that that's out of the way, we'll go ahead and slide these out. So inside the box, we get the lovely iPad mini, space gray. Compared to the size of a regular notebook, it's even smaller than a notepad. So I'm really looking forward to that. So you get the iPad. There's no stickers inside of here, so I'm not even gonna bother opening it. You get your charging brick and you get a charging cable. This isn't color coded with the space gray, so it's just a white cable. And we'll go ahead and take this out of the wrapper. Always a beautiful experience unboxing new Apple products. No Face ID, but you do get a Touch ID, so we'll go ahead and boot that up. It's worth noting that the first generation or I guess it's the second generation of the Apple Pencil will not work with this iPad mini. And so because of that, I had to pick up the new Pencil Pro. So inside the box, I thought about engraving it, but I didn't feel like waiting until Tuesday. A little bit impatient. So compared to the previous model, it looks almost identical. The only difference, they actually stick together. The only difference is one says Pencil, the other one says Pencil Pro. There's also some other unique differences. There's some haptic feedback. You can switch between the different erase mode and stuff like that, which I'll show probably not in this video, but maybe another video. Finally, I picked up this beautiful, let me know, do you guys like this color? My favorite color is green, and I thought this sage green was a nice color. So we'll go ahead and put that here. It's cute. I think that's the best way to describe this. Look at that. That's nice. I actually really enjoy that. That makes me happy. So if nothing else, you should buy an iPad mini because it will make you happy. There, I said it. So if you're clicking on this video trying to research reasons why you should get an iPad mini, buy it because it'll make you happy. But more importantly, it will also slide perfectly into your sling bag, which is what I wanted it to do. So I'll probably do an updated what's in my everyday carry video soon. So we do have it fit in perfectly, which was the first issue that I wanted to solve with my iPad, which was something more portable. I also needed a new iPad, and even though this isn't necessarily much different from what I've had before, so I went ahead and unboxed the iPad like I mentioned. I just want to click here and go into the Apple official website just to make sure I cover all the specs. So as mentioned, this is the new iPad mini 7. I did not have the iPad mini 6, so for me this is my first iPad mini experience, even though I come from the, I've been in the Apple ecosystem, so I had previous iPads. This is a 256 gigabytes, so I believe it was $599, so call it 600 bucks. It does have Apple Intelligence. Haven't really played with Apple Intelligence yet. I believe it just came out late October, so in future videos I'll probably cover my experience with that. One of the things I think is worth noting is that this iPad mini has an A17 chip. The best way to think about this is if you have a iPad, or not an iPad, if you have an iPhone 15, a 15 Pro Max, the chip, that same chip that's used in that phone is the same chip that's in here. I thought with it being a new iPad that Apple would go maybe an M1 or something like that, M2. I believe they're on M4 now, if I'm not mistaken. So I was interested to see the A17. That definitely caught me by surprise. And it was one of the reasons why I was on the fence. But after thinking about it for a little bit, I realized I don't plan to do too much heavy things on this iPad anyway, so I probably don't need the best of the best when it comes to chip. I think the A17 is just fine. I don't have any issues with my current iPhone 15 Pro Max, so I don't foresee myself having issues with this current chip. But I did want to mention that there. I mentioned the Pencil Pro. The old one will not work, so if you have the other Apple Pencil that looks just like this, it will not work with this new iPad mini. It comes in 4 colors. I went with Space Gray, but you can also get it in Starlight, which is like a light gold, purple, as well as blue. Obviously right now I'm holding it with 2 hands, but you can see it's the same way if I switch to a 1-hand hold. And then so yeah, $499 is for the base model that comes in at 128 gigabytes. But I went with the 256 because I think that should be more than enough storage. Like, I know people complain about jelly scrolling, but how I like to do these reviews, I like to think about the average consumer and the average user. This is most likely how I will be using this iPad. I don't think I'll be scrolling, so quickly to where, I'm noticing a jelly scroll. I'm just gonna be casually browsing. And as you can see, casually browsing, there's no issues here. So that's a little bit of a background on iPad mini as it live on Apple's website. So something else that I wanted to show was the new pencil, the Pencil Pro. It is a beautiful stroke. I don't have the paper-like screen protector on yet, so there's actually no screen protector, but in the future, I do plan to add the paper-like screen protector to my iPad mini, as I do with a lot of my new iPads. But as you can see, even without the screen protector, it works just fine. You squeeze the pen here, and you're able to switch the different brushes, as you can see. As I hover over each icon, it actually highlights that tool, which is cool to look at. I think probably more important, over here you can see on the icons here, as I go right to left, you can see the different apps move, and this is without touching the screen. So this is the new Pencil Pro at play. I love that it still connects magnetically to the top there. I know FaceTime is going to be interesting because they haven't moved the orientation of the camera to being on this side here, so that way you don't have that weird Zoom meeting offhand look that you usually get when you're trying to make Zoom calls. So I grew up playing RuneScape, and I'm interested to see how the gameplay is. So I'll go ahead and log in there. I played on the iPad 11-inch and I didn't have any problem, but I'm curious to see how it will be size-wise. And I think this is the perfect size. Like I said, having your iPad hold in your hand, fit in your hands perfectly, the way a tablet should feel. I don't think I've said enough about that, but it just feels, it's a gorgeous device to hold. Gameplay is great, you know, the screen is fine, even though it's not OLED. RuneScape is a really intensive game, so that new 8GB RAM is definitely doing its thing there. Not that I had any issues on the previous one. So you'd be able to play your Assassin's Creed, play your Call of Duty Mobile, play your RuneScape, no problem. And like I mentioned, the form factor, I just love this form factor. So that's a look at the iPad mini 7. I was on the fence about picking one up for a while. I'm glad I did. I'm gonna delete all of these apps from the lock screen. People did mention about the space that Apple didn't use here. Obviously, as you know, with the new update, you should be able to hold down, and I should be able to edit these to make the icons just a little bit bigger. Customize, you can go large. It helps a bit. Keep dark mode. So it helps a bit, but like I said, I plan to remove all the icons from my home screen, and so this will just be a nice clean canvas. So there you have it. I covered the iPad mini 7. I'm really glad that I picked it up. One thing I forgot to mention is, compared to a Kindle, it's just a tad bit larger. So another way to think of the iPad mini is that it's a very functional Kindle, because as you can imagine, this can do a lot more than a Kindle can. The pencil is cool. I bought the pencil for the old iPad 11-inch, but because of the size of that iPad, I didn't write with it as much. So I'm interested to see what I create with this smaller iPad. If you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in another one.